Hello, and before this video starts, if you hate Epikrika, please don't unless you find a reason to. And also, please don't hate on anyone that's hating on me, unless you find a reason to. Epikrika says in his response video to my response that I didn't reply to every single point that he made. And I just didn't find a reason to. And he's right in me not responding to it being bad. So in this video, I'll be responding to the second half of his video, and also his new video, and I aim to make this video not like the previous one. One of the things he says in his new video is that me bringing up Chloe games doesn't actually help me, even though it does prove that I'm known to make these kind of edgy jokes.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
So, Nathan responded to my video, unsurprisingly, and also unsurprisingly, this will not be difficult to reply to, because despite his gloating on Twitter about how I gave him exactly what he needed to defend himself, this thing completely fell flat. A good chunk of the video is spent not even talking about my video, and he only acknowledges the first half of it before just ending the response there. What he does acknowledge demonstrates a clear misunderstanding of what points I was even trying to make. I'll make sure not to do the same here though, and actually go through his whole response one step at a time. This will be my last input on the matter, because at this point I'll have made my point so clear that there's nothing else to say. He starts off this video by repeating the same stuff he's been saying already, that people shouldn't be upset by edgy jokes that are purely for the shock value. Incredible.
The reason for making this video, or at least the main reason, is to defend free speech. The fact that there's a pattern actually helps me prove that I've made these kind of jokes in the past. That definitely doesn't make any repetitions of those jokes any less of a joke. I think it just proves that I am actually joking.
He somehow thinks that people bringing this stuff up helps his argument because it helps prove that he's known to make what he calls offensive jokes. Unfortunately, this does not help your case because you are an adult. You don't talk about minors like that.
The thing is that Chloe's not a minor. In the UK, the age is 16. The difference with this case is that I did not know the age. And it's not exactly talking about a minor like that, it's asking about questions. Questions about somebody who's of age.
If you were to joke about other adults like that, then go ahead, I guess, have at it. It's still kinda creepy, but at least it's not illegal. Nobody is stopping you from making actual offensive jokes, and this isn't the filthy liberals trying to take away your freedom of speech. This is a matter of basic decency. But sure, let's just compare it to a 9/11 meme, because apparently that's the same as making sexual remarks about a real-life minor, which can have real-life consequences.
For example, here's a 9/11 meme of Buzz Lightyear flying into the Twin Towers. Why is this funny? Shock value.
Then he goes on to bring up Sandra again.
I'm pretty sure Sandra was one of the people who were rallying behind everyone else. And I'm sure because she's saying that, she would never ever make a racist joke or send NSFW to a minor like I did.
Dude, nobody cares. At least not right now. I get it, she's a nasty person too, but we can get to her later. Trying to use her past actions as justification for you doing the same thing is not helping anyone and is beyond pointless.
The reason I brought up Sandra was because she was rallying behind the other people, saying that I did something bad. And I'm not using it as justification. I'm using it to show that she's a hypocrite and that I find it fucking hilarious. That she's complaining about something that she's done herself. I'm not using it as justification, and I never said that because she did it, it's okay I did it. But I am curious to know if she knew the age of that person.
Afterwards, he says that he wouldn't have sent those questionable pictures from Google if he knew the girl was underage.
This image I got from Google Images, I had no idea of the age of the person I was sending it to.
Here, let me tell you something. Ignorance doesn't make you exempt from the law.
First of all, that was a terrific voice crack. And yes, I have never ever said that this makes it okay. What I have said, however, is that it's not fair to criticize me for sending those images when I did not know the age. What I'm okay with you being mad at me for is not knowing the age though first, which is the thing that I'm mad at myself for not finding out the age first.
In any case, if you aren't entirely sure about how old someone is, then just don't send stuff like that. It's clearly not worth the gamble, since you're having to talk about this right now. Next, he mentions that he's not paying people to leave likes or nice comments on his videos.
And just a couple frequently asked questions. No, I didn't like bot my video. No, I'm not paying people to leave nice comments and support me on Twitter or YouTube.
Okay, nobody accused you of doing that, but go off, I guess. Next, he goes back to his argument about how he didn't know the age of the person he sent the questionable Google image to, and gives further context as to what happened.
So first of all, the messages. Well, that's the easiest one. It was all in a joking context. It was all satire. satire. None of it was serious. The images again, it was just the most serious version of the messages, and I still had no idea of the age of the person at the time. The only time I found out the age actually was when I was in a group chat with a few people. Pink Cat was in the group, and I think it was Pink Cat that said, guys, so guess our age. Obviously the second he says, okay guys, guess our age, I was pretty much like, oh maybe she isn't over 16 because 16 is the age of consent, by the way, in the UK.
Let me stop you right there. While it is true that the age of consent in the UK is 16, that does not matter when you are an adult because at that point you aren't supposed to be having any kind of questionable interactions with a minor.
Actually, Rika, that is completely false. You can be 40 years old and still be having sex with a 16-year-old. That's the law. And she was fine with all these jokes at the time that we were in the group chat. If she wanted me to stop, I would have stopped.
And just because she was okay with your uncomfortable jokes, as you call them, does not mean anything, because also according to the law, children can't consent. Next up, he talks about the weird recordings he sent on Snapchat where he asks for pictures. And again, it was just a joke, guys, because you can totally tell by his tone. Apparently.
As you can tell by the tone, it's not exactly that seducing, it's not a serious request. Like, for example, in the second audio file, it sounds like I just got killed by Sans and Undertow, and I kind of just want to shoot myself.
It sounds like a rather unsettling tone to me, but I guess that's subjective.
Yes, Rika, that is very subjective. That may have turned you on, but I'm not here to question it.
He concludes this section by going on again about how comedy should have no limits, which I agree with on paper, but when it actually starts interfering with the law, maybe you should stop.
You know, if you want to make a video talking about the UK law, a place that you don't live, it probably would have been a wise idea to educate yourself on the fucking law.
Then we get some more Twitter stuff, and he actually makes a decent argument here because someone did misunderstand an actual joke he made here, but it doesn't really prove anything other than people on Twitter are stupid sometimes.
Yes, the irony.
Moving on, we finally arrive at the good stuff. 9 minutes in, and over halfway into this video, he actually responds to me directly, and it's about as embarrassing as I had hoped. You're making this too easy! So the very first diss here is that it's ironic for me to have a series about lazy content when I went 11 months without uploading one.
The series in which he barely ever uploads on, which is quite ironic considering the name.
I get the joke he's trying to make here, but you do realize I have better things to do than consistently make videos about Roblox drama. I've got a main channel to be maintaining, you know. Am I lazy because I stopped making those stop-motion machinimas a couple years ago? Is my work there just invalidated? No.
Okay, I feel like I've struck a nerve here, like, I think I've genuinely upset you. That was not the case, and I don't know why he's trailing up so much. That was just a joke from me. Can you just let it go? Jesus.
His next point as to how I'm lazy is how I spend most of the time talking over background footage of various landscapes in this series.
All of the background footage is just him sticking his camera out of the window whilst his parents driving their car. The background is pretty lazy.
Look, buddy, I know the idea of someone going outside might be a little offensive to you considering you gotta stay indoors working on all those masterpieces of yours, but maybe take a moment to...
Okay, Jesus Christ. Fucking me. Yes, Rika, we understand that you go outside, and I'm very proud of you.
Consider that this is a second channel you're talking about. Like, the entire point is that I put lower effort content onto it that wouldn't fit onto my main channel because of that. And are you even seeing yourself right now? Your videos are literally the same thing, including the one we're talking about right now, except you're talking over video game footage rather than landscape footage. And I do it better.
Which, again, is very subjective. I'd rather watch gameplay than you take out the trash. Is that what you're doing in the background right now?
What makes this even more hilarious is that he follows this up by talking about how I was originally a big inspiration to him, but I guess since I've gotten into a bit of a disagreement with him, my content is terrible now.
No, actually, Epikrika, I still don't take it seriously that you have Epic in your fucking username, but no, yeah, I did look up to you, and still do somehow. Like, I still respect you as a content creator, and I think you're right mostly in what you're saying, except that I just have a big disagreement with a lot of your points. That's why I made the comment about the brain cells, because like I said in this video, you don't know the law.
Keep going, buddy.
But in all seriousness, I did look up to Epikrika. He was one of the people that inspired me to make my videos. I actually watched him closely as I made my videos, and I thought he was the owner of more than 2 brain cells, but apparently not.
He does another bit about how everyone makes messed up jokes with their friends, but I think I've already argued against this point, let's see here, 17 times already, so we're just gonna skip it. Here he talks about the part where I mentioned the lack of context in his apology video from him not naming people or talking about what happened. The main point here was that he gave no indication as to what he really did, but he decided to run with the not mentioning names part and go out of his way to mention as many names as possible because that's apparently what I was asking him to do.
And it's also what I genuinely thought you meant, because I've already explained the context as much as I possibly can. So, I mean, here you go with the names, I guess. Enjoy. Okay, so I'll go ahead and reveal all the names right now. The name from the clip he just shown, the name I wasn't saying is Crazy. C-R-A-Z-E on Discord.
No, genius. I told you that it's rather manipulative to make an apology video for something you only describe in an extremely vague way, so that way people will blindly support you.
But me leaving out names because I genuinely want to protect them has nothing to do with the context. Yeah, because having my name, also you completely disregarded the text that you put on the screen saying, I don't know why he's acting like this stuff wasn't public already. Well, there was text on the screen, and that's why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. He just cut that part out for some reason, no idea why. Here you go, it's on screen right now. And I don't see what's wrong with saying my name. Like, yes, fair enough, my name was already public, but who actually cares? If it's in the list of stuff that I'm saying is now public, yes, fair point, I guess. Yes, it was already public, my name. But by that, I thought you were justifying my address and all of this crap. And I know I'm only saying this right now, but the reason why I poked fun at your content was because at the start of your original video, you did say that this person makes terrible content, and I just found it extremely ironic, because you make the same kind of shit that I do. Like, this is a very weak point to make. I don't see how this is relevant to your video at all, really, but it's just me being dumb, I guess. I just mentioned something that was already public in the list of stuff that shouldn't have been public. Oh, okay, I guess. On a GoFundMe, with my address hidden, and all of my personal information hidden, having my name out there is having the equivalent of my dead grandparents' names, pictures of them, my address, my postcode, my girlfriend, my school, my 10-year-old sister's school.
Once again, you have completely missed the point here. The point is that you listed your name as one of the things that got leaked, but your name is actually public information. That's it.
Yes, sorry, I guess. Please calm down.
Not once did I say, yes, it is a good thing to leak someone's personal information and address, and let me reiterate this. This appears to be heavily exaggerated because there is no docs that appears to be in circulation right now. It may have been at some point, but it isn't now. Is that clear enough for you, buddy?
Yes, there is absolutely no docs online right now. Not one docs. No, nothing like that. Again, why is this relevant? Like, you say that, but obviously I'm not gonna help you find it. If you're that incompetent to use Google search, like, Jesus Christ, help you in the future. And even if it does eventually get taken down because it was logged and reported, people still know my address. And people can share that. Are you dumb? I have every right to be concerned about that. And then he just goes on to speed up the footage because he goes on about it for some time, pretty much leaving out all the context in my video and just ignoring what I was saying so his audience have no clue what I was saying. And in this video, believe it or not, he was about context.
Then he gets mad about me speeding up the part where he goes on about his joking excuse and how that's hypocritical of me for leaving out context. The difference here is that I sped through that part because it was redundant.
In your opinion.
You already made your point about how your friends make offensive jokes, so let's move on. What you did to leave out context was barely talk about what happened in the first place and call it an apology.
Okay, yeah, good point. I should have explained more in the apology, but please understand that it was made right after my address got leaked. I was extremely shaky and scared. Like in this video, I do explain a lot more. Like in the one that you're responding to right now, I should have noted all this in the, the apology. But at the end of the day, day, it was still an apology, and I am sorry for my actions. Not for making the jokes, but for not knowing the age beforehand. That's what I should have checked. How dare people defend me because my personal information got leaked? That's why I'm so shaky in the video, because my address was leaked the second before I made the video. I found out.
Refer to what I said earlier. There is nothing wrong with people thinking it's bad for you to get doxxed, but it is a problem when people think that just invalidates any consequences your actions may have.
Nobody said because my stuff got leaked that invalidates what I done. That's what you're assuming they're trying to say. And that is very objective. I have said through many tweets that because I didn't know the age, that doesn't invalidate what I done. And because that I got doxxed, that also doesn't invalidate my actions. I've been saying all of this the entire time. I didn't realize there were this many SJWs in the world. It's insane. I bet if I made a Nazi joke, you call me a racist too, and like a Nazi.
Are you really gonna pull the SJW card again?
Yes, I was, but now that I've watched your video, I understand that you weren't mad about the jokes and that you share the same views as me, and all comedy should be comedy. And that you can joke about whatever you want to joke about, which I have massive respect for you for. I was directing that at the people saying that you don't make those kind of jokes no matter the age, or no matter the person. You just don't make jokes like that. You don't make jokes about 9/11, you don't make jokes about pedophilia, you don't make any kind of racist jokes either. It's what an SJW would say.
Yep, it's that darn liberal agenda. A bunch of triggered snowflakes is what they are. Get over yourself, honestly. He continues on this point for a little longer before ending the video, and that's it. No, really, that's it. He went through a small portion of my video and then gave up, because I guess he doesn't want to talk about his awful tweets. I'm still waiting on the reason you asked your underage followers if they sleep naked.
Now, I would have ended his video there and then immediately jumped to the second half of his video, but as watching it in my editor, I did notice that he dug very deep for this screenshot of a poll that I had up quite a while ago, where he states, "I asked my underage followers if they'd sleep naked." It was to everybody on Twitter. And for you to say that all of my followers are underage is objective. And for you to think that that question is bad, that is very objective. It was to anybody on Twitter. It's not like I went around DMing people if they sleep naked. But anyway, let's continue with his second half of the video that I didn't mention. I asked that question because I heard it's comfier. And after doing it myself, I did find that it's extremely comfortable. So I wanted to see if anyone else did that. Okay, so I did look at the second half of his video, and it's the exact same shit that I thought it was going to be, hence why I didn't reply to it. It's just him complaining about not knowing how to use a search engine, and people not noticing that my dox was out there, so therefore it doesn't exist. And the guy that doxed me didn't tweet any information, so therefore the dox isn't there. Because of course you tweet that shit and then get yourself suspended. Of course you do that, Epikrika. We're very epic.
It only takes one look in the comment section to see what I mean.
Stealing someone's personal info? Now that's illegal.
I think there's also some other illegal thing going on in this situation, but I can't put my finger on it.
I mean, I fully understand why you think that, because you don't know the fucking UK law.
It's hilarious that this is the one point that always gets brought up in his defense, because if you actually do any research, there doesn't seem to be any leak of his information out in the public right now, which kind of ruins his cry for sympathy when he says, "My address is public right now." He even
removed the comment saying that this is the guy that doxed him. Was this a false accusation? No. Anybody with more than 2 brain cells would realize that that is the guy that doxed me. He has a reputation for it, and he just makes Roblox exploits. He's the kind of guy to do it. I definitely wasn't contacted by him at all. And there definitely isn't even more he could put public if he wanted to, so removing the comment was quite a good choice.
Names the person who doxed him, and looking through their Twitter, there's nothing. At most, it may have been out there at some point, but it clearly isn't now. The only mentions of him getting doxed.
Okay, why am I actually replying? Does he say anything else apart from this? We get it, you can't use Google, Jesus.
Here's another comment.
I wonder if Sandra is going to use this video for another one of her pathetic excuses.
What? Why are we bringing Sandra into this? I get it, they have beef, and Sandra has done her fair share of awful things, but at least she's not a predator, I hope?
I mean, that's still quite unclear. If she didn't know the age of the person she sent that NSFW to, then I don't think she is, but if she did know the age, that is quite questionable, but even so, I don't think she's a predator because of it.
At least you confessed, unlike some other people.
Again, we're bringing Sandra into this. It's incredible.
Alright, just gonna go ahead and skip to a point that is actually worth me replying to. that, you know, is actually about me.
One more interesting tidbit about this video I left a comment on and expressing how much of a disgusting creep.
Shut the fuck up, already debunked. I have a filter in place because I used to be family friendly, still forgot to remove it. If you don't believe me, Kaneko Kittens was also caught in the, you know, comment filter. Here's proof on screen right now, go fuck yourself. I saw that sneaky thought immediately.
And it seems to have been suppressed, as my friends noted they weren't able to find the comment and there is no interaction with it whatsoever. So clearly what I said got picked up by a filter.
Oh. That it was, yes. Yes, that is the case. Thank you.
And if you need any more proof this whole thing is a non-apology, just look to his own Twitter. He says here that the apology was for making an offensive joke in a group with an underage person, and not for directly being a creep to said person.
No, that's completely true. I don't have any regrets about making the jokes, and if that person didn't like my quote-unquote creepy behavior, she could have used the fucking block button like I suggested in my previous video, but she didn't use that until all of this came out, and she said, yes, that was, you know, that was very creepy behavior, but at the time, she was laughing her tits off. I also like how you hid the number of likes and retweets. I noticed that. You fucking, someone really doesn't like the support that my tweet got.
Speaking of which, let's check on the rest of his Twitter. Here we've got absolute classics, like that time he replied to a 14-year-old telling him to stop being creepy with an image of a naked man, or that time he put up a poll for his underage followers.
First one was to intentionally piss her off. Second one was already explained. Now, is there anything else in this video that is worth applying to? Let me check.
It is actually baffling how anyone in his audience can be blind to this. Nathan tries to defend this by claiming his audience mostly consists of 18 to 24-year-olds and that kids shouldn't be watching his videos anyway, but the only evidence to back this up is YouTube's built-in analytics for that, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out that these statistics can easily be wrong. Did the thought never occur to anyone that kids will often lie about their age when signing up or use a parent's account?
Yes, the thought did occur to me, but you were referring to all of my audience being underage, which is impossible. I mean, I do assume that you're one of them, hence the voice crack, but yes, people can lie about their age. The point was that that poll was to everybody on Twitter.
Let's look at my analytics, for example. According to this, only 11% of my audience is under the age of 18. Somehow I doubt that 89% of the people watching a channel primarily focused on a children's Lego game are adults. Even when he's not being a creep, his Twitter is still an absolute train wreck. A genuine criticism? LOL.
Actually, if you go back, that was not genuine criticism, that was a request to not do what I did in the Roblox Discord server again. I did not break any rules in the server, but because of what I did, people can now talk in the voice channels with a rule that now prevents recording of voices. That's what I did, that's what he was tweeting about. He asked me to not do it again. I'm not banned because it wasn't against the rules. Now it is. It wasn't genuine criticism. It was a request that I did a dickhead response to. And my Twitter being a quote-unquote absolute train wreck, again, how is this relevant to the situation? I really couldn't care less what you think about me.
Guys, I only made a gas the Jews joke once or twice.
You did what now? You mind repeating that, buddy?
Is someone offended?
I only preyed on an underage girl once or twice, guys.
Okay, so now he's just making epic funny, so I don't understand how this is, again, is relevant. What the fuck? He's just changing what I'm saying. What?
Even if we pretend everything I just said never happened, the rest of his content still isn't good. It's generally on the click.
What do you just say? It's jitterily on the side of clickbait? I mean, props to you for making new words, but again, why do I care about what you think about my content?
And any editing that appears in his videos is minimal at best. It's like a 2016 commentary channel, but somehow even worse. When he isn't doing that, then he's just ripping off people like Mr. Beast, with his videos donating to random Roblox streamers. It's all super bland, and clearly doesn't take much effort to make, considering one of his goals for 2019 is to upload multiple videos daily. Here's a better goal to set for yourself. You need to seek help. And unlike Cow Cow, I cannot say that you're probably a decent person outside of all this, since this actually goes far beyond petty Lego drama. If you've got anything else to say for yourself other than lol because you're incapable of coming up with a good reply, then by all means, leave it in the comments. I'll even be nice and pin your comment, just to make sure it's easier for people to see how much you embarrass yourself. Once you're done with that,
Nah, I think I'll just make a video embarrassing you. Peace.